Henry's Haunted House by Francesco Simon. No way! shrieked Horrid Henry. He was not staying the week with his slimy cousin Stuck-up Steve, and that was that. He sat in the back seat of the car with his arms folded. Yes, you are, said Mom. Steve can't wait to see you, said Dad. This was not actually true. After Henry had sprayed Steve with green glue last Christmas and helped himself to a few of Steve's presents, Steve had sworn revenge. Under the circumstance, Henry thought it would be a good idea to keep out of Steve's way. And now Mom had arranged for him to spend the week while she and Dad were on their own. Perfect Peter was staying with Tidy Ted, and he was stuck up with Steve. It's a great chance for you boys to become good friends, Mom said. Steve's a very nice boy. I feel sick, said Henry, coughing. Stop faking, said Mom. You're well enough to play football all morning. I'm too tired, said Henry, yawning. I'm sure you'll get plenty of rest at Aunt Ruby's, said Dad firmly. I'm not going, howled Henry. Mom and Dad took Henry by the arms, dragged him to rich Aunt Ruby's door. He rang the bell. The massive door opened immediately. Welcome, Henry, said rich Aunt Ruby, giving him a great smacky kiss. Henry, how lovely to see you, said Stuck-up Steve sweetly. That's a very nice second-hand jumper you're wearing. Hushed, Steve, and rich Aunt Ruby, said Richard. Shh, Steve, said rich Aunt Ruby. I think Henry looks very smart. Henry glared at Steve. Thank goodness he'd remember his goose shooter. He had a feeling he might need it. Goodbye, Henry, said Mom. Be good. Ruby, thank you so much for having him. Our pleasure, lied Aunt Ruby. The great door closed. Henry was alone in his house with his arch enemy. Henry looked grimly at Steve. What a horrible boy, he thought. Steve looked grimly at Henry. What a horrible boy, he thought. Why don't you both go upstairs to play in the Steve's room till supper's ready, said Aunt Ruby. I'll show Henry where he sleeps first, said Steve. Good idea, said Aunt Ruby. Recently, Henry followed his cousin up the wide staircase. I bet you're scared of the dark, said Steve. Of course I'm not, said Henry. That's good, said Steve. This is my room, he added, opening the door to an enormous bedroom. Horrid Henry stared longingly at a shelf filled with bursting with zillions of toys and games. Of course, all my toys are brand new. Don't you dare touch anything, hissed Steve. They're all mine, and only I can play with them. Henry scowled. When he was king, he'd use Steve's head for target practice. They continued all the way up the top. Goodness, this old house was big, thought Henry. Steve opened the door to a large attic bedroom with a brand new pink and blue flowers, wallpaper, and 4 poster bed and enormous polished wooden wardrobe, and 2 large windows. You're in the haunted room, said Steve, consciously. Great, said Henry. I love ghosts. I'll take more than a silly ghost to frighten him. Don't believe me if you don't want to, said Steve. Just don't blame me when the ghost starts wailing. You're nothing but a big fat liar, said Henry. He was sure Steve was lying. He was absolutely sure Steve was lying. 1,000,000% sure Steve was lying. He's just trying to pay me back for Christmas, thought Henry. And Steve shrugged. Suit yourself. See that stain on the carpet? Henry looked down at something brownish. There's where the goat vaporized, whispered Steve. Of course, if you're too scared to sleep here. Henry would rather have walked on hot coal and admit being scared to Steve. He yawned, as if he never heard anything so boring. I'm looking forward to meet the ghost, said Henry. Good, said Steve. Suffer, boys, called Aunt Ruby. Henry laid in bed. Somehow he survived the dreadful meal and stuck up Steve bragging about expensive clothes, toys, and trainers. Now, here he was, alone in the attic on top of the house. He jumped into bed carefully, avoiding the fade of a brown patch on the floor. He was sure it was just spilled cola or something, but just in case. Henry looked around him. The only thing he didn't like was the huge wardrobe opposite the bed. It loomed in the darkness. At him, he would hide a body in the wardrobe, thought Henry. He rather wished he hadn't. Ooh! Henry sniffed. Had he just imagined the sound of someone moaning? Silence. Nothing, thought Henry, shrugging. Down under the cover, just the wind. Ooh! That time the moaning was a fraction louder. The hair on Henry's neck stood up. He gripped the sheet tightly. Ah! Henry sat up. Ah! The ghostly red moaning sound was not coming from outside. It appears to be coming from inside the giant wardrobe. Quickly, Henry switched on the bedroom light. What am I going to do? Thought Henry. He wanted to run screaming to his aunt. But the truth was, Henry was too frightened to move. Some dreadful moaning things were inside the wardrobe just waiting to get him. And then, Horrid Henry remembered who he was, a leader of a pirate gang, afraid of nothing except injunctions. I'll just get up and check inside the wardrobe, he thought. Am I a man or mouse? Mouse, he thought. He didn't move. Ah, 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 ah. The moaning thing. The unearthling noise were getting louder. Shall I wait for it to get me, or shall I make a move first? Thought Henry silently. He reached under the bed for his goose shield. He slowly swung his feet over the bed. Tiptoe, tiptoe, tiptoe. Holding his breath, Horrid Henry stood outside the wardrobe. Ah, 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 ah. Henry jumped and he flung open the door and fired. Splat! Ah, 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 ah. The wardrobe was empty, except for something small and greeny black on the top of the shelf. It looked like it was. Henry reached up and took it. It was a CD player covered in green glue. Inside was a CD. It was called Dr. Jelly's Spooky Sounds. Steve thought Horrid Henry grimly. Revenge! Chapter 6. Did you sleep well, dear? Asked Aunt Ruby at breakfast. Like a log, said Henry. No strange noises, said Steve. No, smiled Henry sweetly. Why? Did you hear something? Steve looked disappointed. Horrid Henry kept his face blank. He couldn't wait for evening. Horrid Henry spent the busy day with ice skating. He went to the cinema and played football. After supper, Henry went straight to bed. It's been a lovely day, he said, but I'm tired. Good night, Aunt Ruby. Good night, Steve. Good night, Henry, said Ruby. Steve ignored him. But Henry did not go to his bedroom. Instead, he sneaked into Steve's. He went under Steve's bed and lay there, waiting. Soon, Steve came out into the room. Henry resisted and urged to reach out the size Steve's skinny legs. He had something much scarier in his mind. He heard Steve putting on his blue bunny pajamas and jumping into bed. Henry waited until the room was dark. Steve lay above him, humming to himself. Dooby 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 doo, sang Steve. Slowly, Henry reached up and ever so slightly poked the matches. Silence. Dooby-dooby-dooby-doo, sang Steve a little more quietly. Henry reached up and poked the matches again. Steve sat up and he lay back. Henry poked the matches again, ever so slightly. Must be my imagination, muttered Steve. Henry allowed several moments to pass. Then he twitched Duvan. Mommy, whimpered Steve. Jab! Henry gave the matches a defiant poke. Ah! Screamed Steve. He leaped up and ran out the room. Mommy, help! Monster! Old Henry scrambled up the room and ran silently up his attic. Quick as he could, he put on his pajamas and clattered noisily back down the stairs to Steve's. Aunt Ruby was in her hands and knees, peering under the bed. Steve was shivering and quivering in the corner. There's nothing here, Steve, she said firmly. What's wrong? Said Henry. Nothing, muttered Steve. You're not scared of the dark, are you? Said Henry. Back to bed, boys, said Aunt Ruby. She left the room. Mommy, help, monsters, mimicked Henry, sticking out his tongue. Mom? Wailed Steve. Henry's being horrid. Go to bed, both of you, shrieked Ruby. Watch out for monsters, said Henry. Steve did not move from his corner. Wanna swap rooms tonight? Said Henry. Steve did not wait to ask twice. Oh, yes, said Steve. Go on up, said Henry. Sweet dreams. Steve dashed out of his bedroom as fast as he could. Tee, thought Lord Henry, pulling Steve's toys down from the shelves. Now, what would he play with first? Oh, yes. He left a few spooky sounds up on his own under the attic bed, just in case.